Nicki Minaj had a bunch of money, allegedly thousands of dollars stolen from her from off of her Amex credit cards, and they was all pointing fingers at a certain stylist.
That there have been several people stealing money from her. Matter of fact, she said 3 different people have stolen from her in the last 2 months. And she does not understand how they were able to do it when she just got a new Amex card. She said they have been stealing from her for years, but she just filed a report 2 weeks ago.
For years, Nicki Minaj was the picture of loyalty, the kind of woman who built her empire brick by brick and made sure her people ate good right beside her. She didn't just rise, she carried her whole team with her. But now it's looking like the same folks she fed might have been sneaking food off her plate when she wasn't looking, because out of nowhere, Nicki Minaj dropped a bombshell accusing her own team of straight up stealing thousands of dollars right under her nose. Secret credit card charges, hidden tracking devices, and a betrayal so bold it's got fans side-eyeing everybody around her. This isn't just messy, it's criminal. And here's the twist. Just weeks before everything blew up, Cardi B went online warning Nicki that people in her inner circle were using her, draining her money, and keeping her distracted while they cashed in behind her back. Everyone thought Cardi was just stirring drama, but now those tweets are starting to sound like a prophecy coming true. So what really went down behind the scenes? Who had the nerve to steal from the queen of rap herself? And how did loyalty turn into a full-on criminal investigation? What Nicki exposed about her own crew is colder, darker, and way more personal than anyone ever saw coming. Nicki Minaj has always worn loyalty like a crown. She never forgot the people who helped shape her sound, her image, her brand, but that same loyalty might have been the trap that nearly broke her. It started small, a few sketchy charges, a weird gut feeling that something just didn't sit right. Then, boom, everything flipped upside down. Nicki found out that someone from her own team had allegedly been using her American Express card behind her back. We're talking thousands gone, $7,000 here, $8,000 there, and several $4,000 hits that she swears she never approved. It wasn't some random hacker. It was people close enough to know her every move. When Nicki hit Instagram, she didn't hold back. She came with receipts, literal screenshots showing transaction dates, amounts, and proof that the ones she trusted most had been quietly bleeding her accounts for months. Fans couldn't believe it. And the wildest part, Nicki revealed that some of them even had access to her new card numbers, cards she just replaced to keep herself safe. That's not just betrayal, that's a straight up inside job. That meant whoever was behind this wasn't some random scammer online. It was somebody close. Nicki dropped the bomb herself, writing, 3 different people in 2 months charging my Amex without permission. She even said some of them couldn't explain how they got her new card number on file. Then she ended it with one chilling line, they're all going to jail. That single sentence shook the whole fan base. Nicki wasn't just mad, but she was heartbroken. This was someone who'd been in her circle for years, celebrating her wins, fixing her looks, calling her sis like they were family. But this wasn't about money anymore. It was betrayal. And when Nicki suddenly unfollowed her longtime hairstylist, Arrogant Tay, the same man who'd been glamming her up for 7 years, fans instantly knew something big was going down. Rumors started flying when Tay was spotted out having dinner with Ice Spice, one of Nicki's newest industry acquaintances. Then, right after that, Nicki hit that unfollow button, and that's when everything started to click. At first, people thought it was just another celebrity spat, some petty unfollow drama, but now it's looking like the exact moment Nicki snapped. It was her breaking point, that gut punch realization that the same folks smiling in her face might have been robbing her blind behind closed doors. And the craziest part? This was only the beginning, because what Nicki uncovered next didn't just point to a few shady transactions, it cracked open a whole web of betrayal right under her nose. When Nicki finally decided to speak, she didn't hold anything back. No cryptic captions, no sneak disses, just raw truth and what she claimed were receipts to back it all up. Within hours, Nicki Minaj's Instagram turned into a digital crime scene. Her stories were flooded with screenshots, alleged fraudulent transactions lined up like evidence on display. $7,000, $8,000, $5,000, even multiple $4,000 charges, all reportedly made without her permission. Each image felt like a dagger from someone she once trusted with her life. But what truly sent chills through the barbs wasn't just the money, but it was the details Nicki dropped in her captions. The way she wrote it made it clear this wasn't random, it was personal. 3 different people in a span of 2 months charging my Amex without permission. Some couldn't even explain how they had the brand new card number, she posted. Then came the part that froze everyone. A couple of them been doing it for years. I filed the first report a few weeks ago. They're all going to jail. This wasn't some emotional meltdown. This was a warning. Her tone wasn't shaky or scattered. It was cold, calm, and confident, like a woman who's been collecting receipts, connecting dots, and getting ready to make her move. Nicki wasn't spiraling. She was strategizing. Fans immediately knew this wasn't about hackers or random fraud. Nicki hinted that the people behind it weren't just stealing her money, they were watching her. She claimed some of them had even planted tracking devices, allegedly following her both financially and physically. And here's the wildest part. Nicki said one of those trackers led straight back to a phone number belonging to one of the suspects. That's not just betrayal, that's obsession. That wasn't an accident. That was straight up obsession. The second Nicki's post hit the internet, social media erupted. The barbs turned into full-time detectives overnight, comparing screenshots, zooming in on old photos, tracking stylist tags. They were piecing together a mystery in real time. Fans started connecting dots fast, especially after noticing Nicki had quietly stopped tagging certain team members she'd worked with for years. Then came the line that sent chills across the timeline. Nicki wrote, "Let's see if they'll go to jail for their ringleaders. Let's see if they'll save themselves or be part of the RICO." That statement flipped everything upside down because when Nicki mentioned RICO, she wasn't hinting at some petty theft. She was talking about a criminal network, a whole coordinated scheme that could involve multiple people tied to her inner circle. The same crew that handled her image, her events, even her personal affairs. And the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. All of this blew up right after Nicki's fallout with Arrogant Tay, her longtime glam team favorite, and right before blogger Tasha K dropped a bombshell that would twist the entire story from shocking to straight up scandalous. If Nicki's Instagram posts were the warning shots, what came next was the explosion. Just when everyone thought the situation couldn't possibly get any messier, it did, and in the wildest way imaginable. Tasha K, the internet's most infamous gossip insider, decided to jump right into the storm. And when Tasha speaks, everyone braces themselves because it's never small talk, it's always explosive. Late one night, she hopped on X, formerly Twitter, and dropped a bomb that shook the entire fan base. She didn't just post tea, she named names. Her tweet read, "Nicki Minaj filed a police report against DeAndre Tristan, the stylist, last week for stealing money. Other names are expected to drop soon. We'll keep you updated." Boom, just like that, chaos erupted online. DeAndre Tristan wasn't some random in the background. He'd been a part of Nicki's glam world for years. He was there during iconic eras like Truffle Butter and Queen, helping her slay every look and every stage appearance. He wasn't just a stylist, he was trusted with wardrobe, fittings, and access to exclusive designer pieces most people could only dream of touching. So when Tasha K dropped his name as one of the people allegedly caught stealing thousands from Nicki's American Express card, the betrayal hit deep. Fans weren't just shocked, they were hurt for her because DeAndre wasn't a stranger or a new face trying to climb the ladder. He was someone who'd been right beside Nicki for years, helping shape her image and legacy. And the deeper the internet dug into it, the uglier it got. Secrets, old posts, and shady connections started surfacing fast. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This was turning into a full-blown scandal. Things got uglier fast. DeAndre wasn't just linked to Nicki. He'd also worked with Cardi B, Toni Braxton, and a handful of other A-list stars. That overlap made the whole situation look way more suspicious. Was this just a stylist who crossed the line, or was there something bigger happening behind the scenes? Tasha K's post fit perfectly into Nicki's timeline. 3 people, multiple transactions, inside access. And now one of those names finally had a face. Nicki didn't directly confirm anything, but her silence spoke louder than any statement could. Because right after Tasha's tweet went viral, Nicki dropped another cryptic message that sent everyone spiraling. Caught red-handed being thieves and worse. I wonder if their other clients know they're thieves. That single post had fans convinced she was talking about the exact same situation. The timing, the wording, everything lined up too neatly to ignore. But what really made it darker was the rumor that Nicki had already been suspicious of him months ago. Back in 2023, whispers were floating around that she'd accused DeAndre of misusing her designer pieces, allegedly reselling custom-made looks meant only for her performances. At the time, fans brushed it off like just another messy industry rumor, something small blown out of proportion. But now, it's starting to look like Nicki was right all along. The puzzle pieces finally fit, and what looked like drama back then might have been the start of a real betrayal hiding in plain sight. As more receipts poured in, fans started realizing something truly chilling. This wasn't just about theft anymore, it was a pattern. People inside Nicki's own circle weren't only taking her money, they were exploiting her trust, her fame, and her silence. Nicki had given these folks full access, her home, her cards, her travel plans, all because she believed they were family. But one fan on X summed it up perfectly. Nicki wasn't surrounded by a team, she was surrounded by opportunists. That line hit hard because it captured exactly what everyone was starting to see. And just when you thought the situation couldn't get any wilder, boom, Cardi B's old tweets resurfaced, and suddenly this whole betrayal started looking predictable. Out of nowhere, fans began digging up Cardi's posts from just 2 weeks before Nicki's accusations dropped, and what they found had the internet screaming, "Cardi warned her." Yep, 2 weeks before Nicki went public about the stolen transactions, Cardi had already gone off on one of her infamous Twitter rants. At first, everyone brushed it off like it was just another round in the never-ending Nicki verses. Cardi feud, same drama, different day. But looking back now, those tweets sound eerily prophetic, like Cardi saw the whole thing coming before anyone else did. She wasn't just throwing shade, it was almost like a warning. And as her words resurfaced, fans couldn't help but wonder, did Cardi know something the rest of the world didn't? Because if those tweets were any hint, Nicki's betrayal wasn't just personal, it was foretold. Cardi B had tweeted, "You don't listen to nobody around you. The only person that got power is Kenneth Petty. But you know what happens when that AMEX." And that one sentence blew up the internet. Fans immediately caught it. She was clearly referencing Nicki's American Express card, the very same one Nicki would later claim had been used without permission. Cardi went even further, accusing Nicki's husband, Kenneth Petty, of allegedly keeping her sedated so he could max out her credit cards behind her back. At the time, everyone thought it was just messy rap beef. Was that another low blow in the never-ending Nicki versus Cardi saga? But when Nicki dropped actual screenshots days later showing those shady Amex charges, Cardi's words suddenly hit way too close to home. It was almost like Cardi knew something the public didn't. That's when the theories exploded. Was someone from Nicki's camp leaking info to Cardi? Was Cardi warning her in her own chaotic way? Or just trying to push her buttons? Because there's no way she could have guessed the exact card, the timing, and even the idea that Nicki's inner circle might have been manipulating her, unless she already had some kind of inside scoop. Then fans dug up another old tweet that made everything even creepier. Cardi had joked, Kenneth Petty sneaking back in after crushing up the 3rd Benadryl in her tacos with a Hello Kitty Visa card. Back then, people laughed it off like just another wild Cardi joke. But now, after Nicki confirmed money missing, unauthorized transactions, and even tracking devices involved, that joke doesn't sound so funny anymore. It sounds like someone might have been hinting at the truth before anyone realized how deep this mess really went. Fans started connecting the dots between the timing of Cardi's tweets and Nicki's stolen money being exposed, and it felt way too precise to be coincidence. It was almost like Cardi knew the storm was coming before Nicki even realized she was standing in it. The Barbs were furious. They flooded social media accusing Cardi of being messy and maybe even tied to the same insiders who betrayed Nicki. Some fans swore that the people stealing from Nicki were double dipping, robbing her on one side and leaking info to Cardi on the other, just to stir up chaos. And that's what made it hit harder. It wasn't just the money. It was the idea that people Nicki had trusted with her career, her home, her peace, were possibly laughing behind her back while giving her rivals ammo to drag her publicly. That kind of betrayal cuts way deeper than dollars. It slices right into the pride of a woman who built everything from nothing. Once Cardi's old tweets resurfaced, this stopped looking like some messy financial scandal. It started looking like a setup, a betrayal that reached into Nicki's marriage, her reputation, and her sanity. The whole internet couldn't stop debating. Were Cardi's words just petty jabs, or were they low-key prophetic? Did she know more than she let on? And while everyone argued, Nicki stayed quiet until she didn't. Because when she finally broke that silence again, the next thing she said made it impossible to ignore her husband's name in this twisted, tangled mess. When Nicki Minaj dropped the word Rico, everything flipped upside down. Up until that moment, fans thought this was just about some stolen credit card charges, a messy betrayal, maybe an inside job at worst. But once she said that word, the whole situation jumped from gossip territory straight into federal level drama. Nicki posted, "Let's see if they'll go to jail for their ringleaders. Let's see if they'll save themselves or be a part of the RICO." That single statement sent shockwaves through social media because for anyone who doesn't know, a RICO case isn't about one person doing dirt. It's about a whole network of people working together to pull off crimes as an organized unit. It's the same type of charge used to take down gangs, money laundering crews, and coordinated scam rings. So when Nicki used that word publicly, she wasn't just venting, she was warning. That wasn't a mad tweet, that was a power move. She was letting everyone know this wasn't some one-off swipe on her credit card. She was implying that multiple people, the same ones she paid, trusted, fed, and kept close, might have been robbing her blind for years. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, right under her nose, all while smiling in her face, acting loyal and calling her sis. And the more fans replayed her words, the more it all started making sense. This wasn't random betrayal anymore, and it was an operation. Nicki revealed that she'd actually filed her first police report weeks before she ever went public, meaning investigators already had names, amounts, and evidence before she even hit that post button. Fans quickly realized Nicki wasn't just reacting in anger, she'd been building a case. When she finally dropped the bomb on social media, it wasn't a cry for help. It was a warning shot. She was done protecting snakes. Her followers started connecting everything. Stylists, assistants, and even former team members were now being whispered about as part of a mini ring that might have been draining her finances for years. Some Barbs pointed out that it explained why certain names suddenly vanished from her credits and tags, while others noticed how the timing lined up perfectly with the moments Nicki went quiet online, almost like she'd been putting the puzzle together behind the scenes. And then came that tracking device detail, the part that gave everyone chills. Nicki claimed one of the alleged thieves had placed a tracker that linked directly to their own phone number. That wasn't just theft anymore, and that was surveillance. If true, this wasn't about quick money. It was about control. Someone had allegedly been monitoring her, watching her movements, and maybe even coordinating with others to keep the setup running smoothly. So when Nicki mentioned Rico, it wasn't random at all. It was a warning that what she'd uncovered wasn't just personal betrayal, it was an organized operation. And if law enforcement really took that evidence seriously, this could mean real prison time for whoever's behind it, because Nicki wasn't just coming for payback, she was coming for justice. Through all the chaos, Nicki Minaj stayed strangely calm. Her posts weren't emotional breakdowns, they were strategic. Every caption, every screenshot felt calculated, like a woman who already knew the end game. One fan on X summed it up perfectly. You can tell she's not ranting, she's documenting. Every post looks like evidence, and honestly, they might be right. Nicki's been in this business too long to make moves without purpose. She's seen shady contracts, fake loyalty, and backstabbing turn careers upside down. But this time, she's the one flipping the script. The same people who used to whisper behind her back are now the ones sweating bullets. As fans argue over whether an actual police investigation is underway, one thing's undeniable. Nicki's not playing the victim, she's preparing for war. Because when the betrayal comes from inside your own camp, when the same folks you fed start invading your finances and privacy, you stop explaining yourself and you start documenting. And when Nicki finally speaks, the whole world listens. That's power, quiet, calculated power. If her RICO warning really means what people think it means, then Nicki Minaj might not just be cleaning house, she might be bringing the whole house down. After days of chaos, speculation, and pure betrayal, one thing became crystal clear. Nicki was done playing nice. The same woman who once gave her team everything, opportunities, fame, exposure, loyalty, was now taking it all back. Not out of anger, but with precision. Every move she made felt like the setup to an ending nobody saw coming. Nicki Minaj has never been just an artist. Wait, she's a strategist. Every move she makes, every post she drops, it's calculated. This time she wasn't lashing out for clout, she was sending a warning. Her message was crystal clear. The queen is cleaning, and she meant it. Behind the scenes, insiders claim Nicki started rebuilding her entire circle from scratch. She's cutting off anyone who can't prove their loyalty, restructuring her management, and even hiring private investigators to dig deep into what really went down with her finances. Because if there's one thing Nicki knows better than anyone, it's that snakes don't hiss anymore. They smile right in your face while plotting behind your back. While the internet buzzed with chaos and conspiracy theories, Nicki stayed composed. She looked unbothered, glowing, confident, and laser-focused. Her next posts weren't about drama or shade, they were about rebirth. Studio shots, elegant selfies, and captions like God's timing. Fans noticed immediately. This wasn't a woman falling apart, this was a woman rising from the ashes. One fan wrote, "Nicki isn't just fighting back, that she's evolving." And that's the truth. Every time people try to break her down, she comes back sharper, stronger, and more untouchable than before, because if history's taught us anything, it's that Nicki Minaj doesn't crumble under pressure, she transforms it. The same betrayal meant to end her is now fueling her next era, and by the looks of it, the comeback is already in motion. If there's one thing the world should know by now, it's that Nicki Minaj doesn't crumble. She calculates. They might have stolen her money, tracked her moves, and tried to shake her confidence, but what they can never touch is her legacy. Nicki's already turned the page, and she's not wasting another breath explaining, defending, or proving herself to anyone. Her next era is about to speak louder than any statement ever could. Because when you've been betrayed by the ones closest to you, the people you fed, trusted, and built up, the best revenge isn't yelling their names in public, it's making sure they never get a seat at your table again. That's real power. Quiet, controlled, and unstoppable. And as the world watches this story unfold, one thing stands crystal clear. Nicki Minaj isn't a victim. She's the storm. The queen of rap just reminded everyone why you never play with royalty. Because when a queen fights back, she doesn't just win the battle, she reclaims her throne. The message is simple. The betrayal might have shaken her circle, but it didn't shake her crown.